The NHL draft is quickly coming up, and what does that mean for St. Louis and the future of the team? We're also going to talk about the low scoring that this team had this past season. That's all coming up on Locked on Blues.
You're Locked on Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
First off, thank you guys for making Locked on Blues your first listen every day. And I want to tell you about Game Time, who is sponsoring today's episode. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Hello, you guys. I'm Haley Simon, and I am your host of Locked on Blues. And I want to tell you all a little bit about me since we didn't get into that much in the first couple episodes. I have been covering the NHL for years now, and I actually began my full coverage on my own podcast in the 2018-2019 season when the St. Louis Blues won that Stanley Cup, you guys. I also work at 97.5 The Fanatic, a sports radio station. And I got to tell you guys, at the end of the day, and to anybody listening, hockey is the love of my life. And I'm obsessed with hockey. Hockey is everything. And I'm sure if my everydayers are watching this, you guys already know my passion. So for all of those who are new, that's a little bit about myself, and we're going to get in today's episode. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the NHL draft prospect, Zach Benson. Who is Zach Benson, and how can he benefit the St. Louis Blues? Well, Zachary Benson was born in Langley, British Columbia, Canada. He is 5'10" and weighs in at 159 pounds. He is a center, and he also can play left wing, and he shoots left. Now, right off the bat, his weight concerns me just a little bit, folks. I would like him to be a little bit bigger. 159 is not that big. And again, 5'10", it's not the tallest. It's not the worst because, again, he will be in equipment. But that is fine because his speed definitely makes up for it. So he was second in the Western Hockey League, scoring amongst draft-eligible players like Connor Bedard. Okay, so off the bat, if you're scoring a little bit under Connor Bedard, that to me is a good player. So I like that a lot out of Zachary Benson. He played 60 games, and in those 60 games, he scored 36 goals and 62 assists, accumulating 98 points. Now, if it wasn't for Connor Bedard or some of the couple other guys that are slightly above him, he would be going first overall without a doubt in my mind. This kid is a stud on the ice. And he is somebody that, again, wouldn't need a lot of development time. He is somebody that you could even see potentially this next season getting some ice time. So I like that a lot about him. So Benson is also a phenomenal thinker on the floor and would even classify him as a top 6 in this year's draft as a forward. He also has a very good hockey IQ, which I know some of you guys are probably like, Haley, what does an IQ have to do with anything? You need to be smart when you're playing hockey. Hockey is a game where you need to be a fast thinker. You need to be a fast learner. The speed of the game goes by so quickly. And Zach Benson, he has that. He has that mindset. He has the speed. And he is showing everybody, all the scouts, everybody who was looking at him, that he is one of those guys that is sharp on the ice. And that is vital, especially for the Blues when you looked at this past season. And we're going to get into how it was low scoring. But you have a guy like that is a good thinker, a good playmaker, who would definitely amplify the offense. So I like that a lot about Zachary Benson. He has great competitiveness. When you watch this guy play, every single time he's on the ice even, he is trying to make something positive happen out there. He is a super competitive guy. He has great edge working skills, which is huge. He's a good passer. And that's important because, again, folks, hockey is a team sport. This is not the all-star game where we're showing off our individual skills. We are trying to win games. And to win games, you need to play as a team. So I like that a lot. That passing, anytime a player is good when it comes to passing, off the bat, the first thing I think of is oh my gosh, he is a good teammate. And that's how I think of Zachary Benson. He's good at puck handling. It could use a little more improvement. And again, that's where that development comes into play. I'm a little critical sometimes when it comes to guys and how they are with their puck handling. Me watching, while yes, I have not played hockey. I have figure skated, actually. That's a fun fact about myself. I still figure skate. I figure skated in college at West Virginia. But I'm critical about the puck handling because that's when turnovers happen and sloppiness. It's just sloppiness. You need to go back to the basics, learn how to handle that puck because, folks, at the end of the day, that could be a difference between a win and a loss. And I've seen that more than it needs to be seen. It's just not, it's not cute. It's not good. And I think that he could use some improvement. But at the same time, it's not as drastic as some of these other guys in this draft class. So that's a positive. He is able to read the ice defensively as well. Oh, whoa. Who is this guy? This guy should be our 10th overall pick because this guy, Mr. Benson over here, he is, yes, he's a center, he's a winger, but he also is great on D if he needs to go back. So I like that. Okay, the St. Louis breaking. I wish we had like a breaking news update sound that I could use. The St. Louis Blues, and this was just announced, so it is today, June 15th, 2023, that the St. Louis Blues are entering into a multi-year agreement with Credenza Inc. to launch a first of its kind software to open technology to the team's popular app-based fan engagement platform, Bluenatics. And this enhanced program named Bluenatics Passport will serve as a universal ID for all fan activities across ticketing, concession, retail, partner locations, and online. Wow, this is really cool. This is breaking news. I'm telling you guys about prospect Zach Benson, and the Blues just came out with this. And folks, to make it even better for you all, Bluenatics Passport will begin in the beginning of the 2023-2024 season. Oh man, this is so cool. Okay, quote, we're always looking at an innovative technology that will help us enhance value and engagement amongst existing fans while serving potential new fans of the St. Louis Blues. And that was from Matt Garner, St. Louis Blues Vice President of Initiative and Digital Strategy. Wow. This is really cool, you guys. So, for all of those that are listening to this podcast, this is breaking news and this is really cool. This is you know what? We're going to talk about this towards the end. I'm going to go back to Zach Benson, okay? But I had to share this breaking news because this is going to make the game so much better. And I love this move by the St. Louis Blues. Cool. Awesome. Okay. So speaking of cool and awesome, Zach Benson. All right. So he is the best defensive forward in this draft. I was going on about how he is really good at playing D if he needs to. Out of all of the guys in this draft class, and I was analyzing, the best forwards of this class. And of course, Zach fell into that category. But when you look at defensive forwards, by far, he is the best out of any guy in this class. So I like that. He is an high-end playmaker, which is another positive. I feel like he really pushes his teammates too, and that is something that, we see from a Bedard. We talked to Oliver Moore yesterday. We're seeing that in the guys that we're talking about, especially on here in Locked On Blues, but we're seeing that throughout the guys in this draft class. So I like that, and this is another important thing that shows me that he is a good teammate. And then he also was good at pushing the pace of the game. Some of the games that he's played in, they've been a little bit slow, and I don't like slow hockey. So I like that he's able to go in, push the pace just a little bit, and get it going. And he's able to find open space on the ice. And we all know how important that is to find open space on the ice, especially when all the guys are bunched together and you're like, where is the formation? And it drives me insane. I hate sloppy hockey. That is my least favorite thing on the planet. So I like that Zach is able to make it not as sloppy because it's still going to be somewhat sloppy at the end of the day. But Zach, he's so brilliant and smart in what he does. and he is able to make it just that much better. So kudos to Zach. And then this is what kind of concerns me. Okay, he doesn't flash often. Okay, what does that mean? He's not a showy kind of guy. He's not a showman on the ice, which it's fine. I kind of like when the prospects are a little bit showy. That way I can just see their confidence and it makes me feel better. And then his shots are also nothing crazy. It's not like he's having the best slap shot. There's nothing crazy about his shots. And it's not a negative. It's not a positive. It's just a reality. So overall, I think that he is a possibility for us to get it overall at number 10. And we're going to talk about this in my last segment about pressure on the draft because I have a really interesting, I told you guys I had an interesting proposal yesterday. I have a really interesting proposal. So I'm going to tell you guys about that. All right. So that was all about Zach Benson. And the next thing I'm going to talk to you guys about is the low scoring that we had this past season. A couple of my everydayers, they've said to me, Hale, when is it going to be the episode where you really crucify and criticize one player in particular? So we're going to get into that. But at first, I'm going to tell you guys about my friends over at Game Time. What is Game Time? Well, Game Time is one of the best ticket servicing apps on the planet. And the best part about Game Time is that you can buy your tickets last minute and you get the best deals possible. The one thing I have to say about Game Time, it isn't just for sports, it's for concerts or any event. So I love Game Time a lot, and you get images of your seats so you know what you're getting into. So that is a positive. So make sure you download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, it's the dreaded talk. It is, oh man, it's the low scoring, especially of Mr. Sammy Blais. I know. I was kind of avoiding this because I do like Sammy a lot. He is one of my favorite players, and I'm a little bit biased maybe. But let's get into Sammy. So Sammy originally started with the St. Louis Blues in 2017, and he only played 11 games. In that season played, he had 1 goal and 2 assists. Okay, well, that's expected. But then in 2018, I almost said 2008, in 2019, he played 32 games with 2 goals and 2 assists. Not so great. In 2019, 2020, he played 40 games for St. Louis with 6 goals and 7 assists. Okay, we're making some improvements. 2021 season, well, 2020, 2021 with St. Louis, 36 games played, 8 goals, 7 assists. Better. And then this is what, I truly blame the team that he was on, but he was on the New York Rangers in 2021, 2022. 14 games played, 0 goals, 4 assists. He was as well as on the Rangers in 2022, 2023, 40 games played, 0 goals, 5 assists. He finally came back home to St. Louis because nobody likes the Rangers. And he played 31 games, 9 goals, 11 assists. So this season was his best. He is such an interesting player, and he's a player that I feel like a lot of us here in St. Louis don't know how to read. He is a left winger, so that's a little low, and I am not so confident about his ability. 26 years old, folks, and it's kind of like, it's one of those things you got to ask yourself, where is the improvement? Is going from 0 goals to 9 goals improvement? Yes, absolutely. But he should be scoring more. And it's something that I don't know if I would be that heartbroken if we traded him. I know there's some other players that we want to trade, and I am completely understanding of that. But at the end of the day, that's just not good enough for me. And I don't know how about you guys and how you feel. He was selected into the Blues in the 6th round. So he was pick 176 in the 2014 draft. So yeah, it's not like he was like a first round pick or anything like that. But come on, you cannot be putting guys on the ice that are not going to be producing points or goals. And it gets me really ticked off because you can like a player. You can really like a player a lot. But at the end of the day, he played cumulative 204 games between the Rangers and St. Louis. He has scored in those 204 games 26 goals, 38 assists. That is not good enough. I don't know anybody that is into hockey that would say, oh yeah, this is a player that's really good and productive. No. And this is the problem. We can love a player. We can like a player. Yes, he's a good playmaker. Yes, he does set up the puck well. He puts pressure on the guys out on the ice. Yeah. But is this the kind of player that we want to go forward with? 26 isn't old in real life, but in hockey life, it is a little bit old. And I can't confidently say that this is a guy that I could see moving this team forward, getting this team back to the postseason. I can't say that. And it bugs me a lot because I want him to be. I really like Sammy Blais, but I don't know if Sammy Blais has the way. I just wanted to throw that rhyme in there for anybody listening or watching on YouTube. I just thought I was like the most creative person just then. But it bugs me and it drives me absolutely insane. Going forward, the Blues really need to look at this past season. You cannot be only getting 9 goals and 16 assists is good. I mean, no, it wasn't 16 assists. My apologies. It was 11 assists. Even worse, folks. What are we doing here? Oh, man. Yeah, it's not going swell for the St. Louis Blues this past season. And I talked about this on my first episode of The Blues' Future. You can check that out on Locked On Blues here on YouTube. And again, when we look at the guys on the team, let's go see where Mr. Sammy Blais. He actually wasn't even on the bottom of the list of the goal scorers this season. So Jordan led. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He was your 9th leader when it came to goal scoring this season. Unacceptable. Oh man, you cannot be doing that. Cal Rosen. What did he have, Mr. Rosen? He was under Blais. 8 points. Kapanen, 8 points. I mean, I'm not going to go hard because, again, I'm not, defender, no. We're not going to crucify people like that. It was really bad this season. Wow. I mean, it's just, there's not words to describe how infuriating it is when your winger cannot score more than 9 goals in a season. This was the most goals he's scored in a season out of all the seasons that he's played in the NHL. This is the cap, guys. This is the best we're going to get. All hail King Sammy Blais, because I don't know if we're going to get any better than this. Folk, love Folk, 11 goals. Thomas, 18. But the thing about Mr. Robert Thomas is I could also see him being the captain one day. I love him. He's a great center. He's only 23. He is so young, but yet he has made so much improvement. He's developed. He's just what you want as the future. Sammy Blais can love the guy, can think that he's a great guy off and on the ice in a sense, but I think that I don't know if we can get that much value out of him, but we need to draft good forwards. This is so vital for St. Louis. We need to make trades. We need to get guys that can score the puck in the net. The puck belongs into the net, Sammy Blais. So we'll talk more in depth about that, but I wanted to throw that out there that I am still besides the defense not performing well this season, and I've been kind of hard on them the past couple episodes, I'm a defensive girl. I am like obsessed with defense. That's like my one thing I like to specialize on. This offense is awful. So we're gonna jump on that. But I don't want to like specifically call one guy out this episode, but at the same time, Sam Blay, I'm gonna also call you out a little bit. You guys know what I'm not gonna call out though. Bird dogs, water bird dogs. Bird dogs make you look good. They're a stretch khaki short, and they're designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, giving you a truly sculptured look. Bird dogs are shorts and do the same thing as Lululemons, but so much better. So I want you guys to go to birddogs.com/lockedonnhl for a free Yeti style tumbler with your order. That's birddogs.com/lockedonnhl for a free Yeti style tumbler. You won't want to take your bird dogs off. We promise you. Awesome, you guys. So the last thing we're going to talk about, and this is my little rant of the day. Okay. And I take a deep breath for this one after my yelling. The importance of this draft. I touched on this with the low goal scoring, and I know this was going to be something that was going to be brought up again. This draft is significant to the future of the St. Louis Blues. This draft is our future. If we don't draft well, if we don't come out of this draft in the first round with 2 forwards and 1 defender, I'm going to be so ticked off. This draft, we have some of the best centers, some of the best wingers, some of the best defenders. Do not be stupid here. Do not draft multiple defenders. Don't even think about a goalie, even though that won't happen. I had to put that out there. Do not even think about it at all. With your 10th overall, you need to try to move up a little bit. You can make some trades before the draft. We're 13 days away, folks. This is June 15th, so we're coming close. The Golden Knights just won the Stanley Cup. Season is technically over, but now we're thinking about the future. And what I do not want to happen to you guys here who are listening to this podcast, to anybody that's maybe an executive listening, I don't want to be in this position where we take our 10th overall pick, if that's what we end up having, and we don't try to trade up a little bit and we get stuck with a defender at 10th overall. We need a forward at 10th overall. These guys are going to go by so fast. They're not going to be hanging around for the 25th overall. They're going to be moving around quickly. So what this team needs to do is to just utilize the fact you have a 10th overall pick. Use that. Use that pick. Get a guy. Even when I talk about Zachary Benson and Oliver Moore, get somebody, because this is not going to last you forever, folks. And with the way that this team has been playing, it's just, it's not okay. It's unacceptable. And I want a guy to come into this season. This is ideal. If we end up still having Blay, I want him to come into the season, and I want him off the bat. I want him to get at least 10 goals before the All-Star break. A little unrealistic, but I want these guys to be fired up. And I do not want any more of these excuses. I do not want any more of this, well, we can, try to draft. I want action. I want call to action. I want, Berube. I want him to be mad at this team. Well, not like mad, but I want him to fire this team up. We have a great head coach. And I had talked about this yesterday. I hate that you guys, some of you guys, not all of you guys, want him to go. I hate that we're in a position right now where we just won the Stanley Cup 4 seasons ago. And now we're in this kind of rebuild mode, which I do not like at all. We have one of the best goaltenders in the league with Jordan Binnington. And this draft is really important. And if they don't draft well, this season won't go well for St. Louis. And I hate that I'm even saying that. So yes, do I have optimism? Absolutely. Am I feeling confident? Slightly. I'm going to be a little confident because I don't think you can mess up having the most stacked draft since 2015. But anything can happen, and I want to know what you guys think. And that's why in tomorrow's segment, on every Friday, we do Are We Feeling Blue, which is our Friday segment. This week is flying by the way, you guys. But I want you guys to let me know, how are you feeling right now about this draft as it's getting closer, 13 days away? Do you feel confident? Do you feel a little bit, I don't think that this is going to go well. I want to let you guys tell me what you think so we can discuss it on tomorrow's episode of Locked On Blues. Today's episode was a lot of fun, you guys. We got to talk about Zach Benson, who was a prospect that I really like. And just to wrap this episode up, during that segment with Zach Benson, I told you guys about Bluenatics, which is this awesome app that the Blues just put out. Maybe, just maybe, hear me out, this season will be well. This season will improve. And if it doesn't, at least you can get your snacks at a faster pace while at Enterprise Center. That's the one takeaway. Then we can take away that. All right, you guys, I'm Haley Simon. You can follow me on Twitter at Haley T. Simon, or you can follow at Locked On Blues. And I will talk to you folks tomorrow. And again, thank you for making Locked On Blues your first listen every day. Bye, guys.